Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about heat networks. So more about the challenge of decarbonising our heating systems, which both earlier speakers have touched on. And yes, about the safety belt. Obviously, one of our core values is around safety, and that's very important to Vattenfall and in all of the work that we do. My name is Alina. I am the Director of Heat Networks for London, and I hope by the end of this conversation and this presentation you'll be as excited as I am about the opportunity to decarbonise our cities, particularly through the transition to low-carbon heating system and district heat networks. It's obviously a very important topic, and it's critical at the current time that we have in terms of trying to reach net zero and maintaining the sort of direction of reaching net zero, which at Vattenfall is really important. Obviously, there continues to be challenges, as others have touched on. The pace is uncertain, but we hope through the work that we've been doing in partnership, and I'll touch on some of the partnerships that we've also formed in the UK, that we can continue to accelerate the pace of the transition. It's obviously an important challenge that we and everyone involved in this room needs to continue to work on. Personally, I've been working in renewable infrastructure for a number of years, both as an advisor to local authorities and project developers, as an investor, and also worked for the UK Green Investment Bank when it was set up to accelerate all low-carbon infrastructure. So it's a very strong belief of mine that we need to continue to work together and make the right policy and investment decisions to be able to reach the long-term outcomes for people and planet, which is a very important part of the transition. Just a little bit about Vattenfall. We are a large utility. We operate in Sweden, Germany, Netherlands, Denmark, and the UK. We have a very simple goal, and that for us is to enable fossil freedom and to help create a future where everyone can choose to move, make, and live fossil-free. And that drives all our business investment decisions and the areas that we focus in. As I said, our operations include things from nuclear power station, hydro, onshore and offshore wind, solar, electricity distribution, district heating, and e-mobility. My core area of focus in the UK is on district heating, and that's what I will focus on today. For those of you who aren't familiar with what heat networks are, effectively you can think of them as a central heating system for an entire town or district. We capture the heat that is available and already exists in a central location, and then we use and transport this heat through underground insulated pipes to local homes and businesses. And there's lots of different ways of configuring these systems, including uses of waste heat, such as waste heat from incineration, from data centers, or other industrial processes. And the benefits of using this is the efficiencies that running a system can ensure that we use the best resources available, including ambient heat, like in bodies of water, ground, as well as air. Obviously, as others have touched on, the reason we're focusing on decarbonising heat is a third of the carbon emissions annually come from heating our homes and buildings, and so it's critical to make sure that we can make this transition in the heating system. At the moment, about 2 to 3% of homes are heated through heat networks, but in order to meet the net zero targets, this has to increase to about 20%. So obviously quite a huge investment opportunity for the UK. So what has Vattenfall been doing in the UK? So we're already delivering some district heatings in 3 core areas. I will touch on this in a bit more detail. The key locations for us are London, which is the area that I look after, Bristol, and also in Scotland. So I'll go through some of the key features of the types of partnerships that we have formed in these different cities and different regions. And I think one of the themes that comes across, and again mentioned by others, is around partnership. These are important long-term infrastructure projects, and they're there to deliver for the local communities and for the local cities, and therefore partnerships are so important to making sure that the delivery is successful, sustainable, and delivers the outcomes that we all want for the long term. So the first case study I wanted to talk about is really what we're doing in London. So in Brent Cross Town, which is in northwest London, we are delivering one of the largest heat networks in the UK. We have been appointed through a procurement process to be the energy service company, and that's in partnership with the master developer Related Argent and Barnet Council, who are also partaking in that development. It's a 47-year concession. It's an odd number, but that's the number it came to. And we will be providing low-carbon heating and hot water to about 6,700 homes and about 3 million square foot of commercial space, as well as what's quite innovative about this project is we're also providing district cooling to selected buildings as well. So again, that benefit of using heating and cooling at the same time and balancing the system makes the whole energy system much more efficient in that area. So again, similar to making sure that we use everything available to make the scarce resources go further is very important. We're supporting Brent Cross Town in reaching their own net zero targets. And through this system, we'd be reducing the carbon emissions by 69% once the main energy centre, which is currently being designed and planned, comes online in late 2027. We already have customers, so the system is operating. It's making use of a temporary energy system. We have over 200 residents now getting heat from the system. And this temporary energy centre will come offline once the main energy centre, which is fully electric, it has its heat on date. The next city I wanted to talk about is Bristol. Bristol is one of the UK's most ambitious cities when it comes to cutting greenhouse gases, and one of the first to have declared the climate emergency. In 2022, they launched Bristol City Leap procurement, which is that's when it was signed. It was one of the world's first city-scale partnership, which brings together over £1 billion of investment to make or to support Bristol in its carbon neutral journey and to be resilient by 2030. So it's a partnership where a number of parties came together. Vattenfall is supporting the city to reach its goals through the heating system, but it also covers, the partnership also covers other types of solutions like retrofit, heat pumps, solar panels, electrical vehicle charging, and other energy efficiency measures to upgrade homes and businesses. Vattenfall is focused on the heat network, so we've acquired the existing networks that Bristol City Council developed, and we are now serving the customers and continue to sign up new customers and expand the heat network. And over the next 5 years, we plan to invest over 475 million to grow the network and achieve a decarbonised solution for the network. The next partnership I wanted to talk about is Midlothian Council. It's on the outskirts of Edinburgh, and here the partnership structure is a 50-50 joint venture with Midlothian Council, and that again is to deliver low-carbon energy projects across the region. This initial phase, again, is focused on heat networks, and the current Mel heat network will supply about 3,000 homes, education and retail properties, and is currently supplying the first properties in Shawfair Town, which is a new build development, residential development, and Craighall Village. It's powered from a waste heat from Miller Hill Recycling Centre, and this waste heat will be used for the long term to heat the local businesses. As I said, we've already have homes connected, and the energy centre itself, which will end up being the permanent energy centre, is expected to make the connection middle of next year. In the meantime, again, use of temporary systems, which are based on low carbon HVO, so this is processed waste vegetable oil, and again, important part of the journey to building such a large network is the use of temporary systems to allow the demand and supply to match. In the future, in Midlothian, we'll also be looking to try and capture waste heat from mine workings and sewage wastewater processing. So again, system development is part of the key to make sure that we continue to capture sources of waste heat as networks develop and grow. Obviously, an important part to sort of decarbonising the system, it's not just about reducing the carbon, but there are wider benefits to using heat networks. Some of them I've already touched on, but just to highlight some of the things that we are doing, it's obviously very important that heat networks are part of the mix. They work best in densely populated areas, and where there's the opportunity, again, to try and take waste heat availability into these dense areas. The scale of investment, as we've said, to go from where the penetration of heat networks is now to 20% is estimated to be anywhere between 60 and 80 billion pounds by 2050. Obviously, this creates the opportunity for high-quality jobs across the UK, both in the delivery, the design, the delivery, and the operation of the networks and throughout the supply chain. It obviously drives economic opportunities in the areas where these heat networks are being invested in. And the sector estimates that they could create, above 20,000 jobs through the investments that is required in the network. So obviously very important economic driver as well. There are obviously a lot of wider benefits to being connected to a heat network, and that includes the sort of customer services that you get. This is a 24/7 system that is monitored and supported, so if anything goes wrong, the energy companies come and sort it like ourselves. It obviously improves air quality by capturing sort of the heat that's around us and not burning fossil fuels. And obviously using local heat sources then provides additional supply security in the long term. They're also a significant contributor to social value, and there's wider benefits including job creation, local investment, and other areas. And as part of our commitments in working with the different cities that I've highlighted here, we've made commitments to deliver other social value outcomes. So, for example, in Bristol, in the partnership with Bristol City Leap and our partners Amoresco in that, we've committed to deliver £61.5 million of social value over the next 5 years. And that includes local supply chain, job creation, and other funding initiative for community projects. Similarly, in Scotland, we're focused on establishing career pathways to support the heat network sectors, and across all our projects, such as Brent Cross, we're working with local organisations to create apprenticeships and engage with schools and other community benefit schemes. Hopefully this has been a whistle-stop tour. Sorry, I can see you're standing. You haven't sat down yet. Lots of detail here, and similar, happy to have a conversation and talk to you more about in detail of what we're doing in these cities and what other plans we have for the future. Thank you.